Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Hazardous Artist Series. I'm Melly, your hostess, and I've been pretty MIA lately, and I apologize for that. But I thank you so much for your loyalty, your love, and your support through this weird time. And I couldn't go into details while it was happening for various reasons that I cannot get into right now. But today I'm back, and we can get back into doing a background piece for the birds because I couldn't think of anything else to do. So we're going to do this instead. So today's topic of choice is going to be what happened on my 2-week excursion from the world, pretty much. And what had happened, the Too Long Didn't Read segment of what happened, was that I had a wildfire that was threatening to burn down my house. And it was pretty, I wouldn't say scary. I was just nervous during the entire time. And while it was all going on, we had to pack everything because we were sitting in the evacuation warning zone. At any time, the sheriff could have just popped up on our driveway and said, "Get the heck out," and we would have to go. And so we packed everything up for a possible evacuation, and well, all my art stuff was packed. Everything was packed, and it just seemed like a lot more work to try and unpack it and then repack it and then unpack it. Not to mention the clear off the table every time I had to pull it out. And it just seemed like a lot more work than it was worth, especially since I was still working my full-time job and I'd come home in the late afternoon. So it just didn't seem like energy efficient, nor really, efficient in general. And I guess that could have been just laziness on my part, but I didn't want to waste so much energy when I have little energy to begin with. So, but everything is fine now. The fire is pretty much contained. I wouldn't say it's 100% contained because it is not, but as for the threat to my house, it is very much not a threat to my house anymore, which is great for me and for my family since we just got this property. So that's what happened to me, you guys. The wildfire was crazy. It started from a lightning strike that happened because we had a lightning storm in the beginning of September. It happened on September 10th, and it formed 3 fires actually in the beginning, very much in the south of where I live, like 50-60 miles from where I lived, and it blew up essentially into this crazy fire. And then 2 of the fires just combined into one, creating this complex fire. And it then just everything blew up after that, because then it just started going north in a rapid rate, and it threatened buildings and structures in the parks. And the park had to shut down, and then we started getting evacuation orders from the south, and it was just slowly making its way north, and it was kind of scary. Like I said, I wasn't really scared so much as I was just nervous. I was just tired of fires to begin with, because if you guys have been with me since last year, you would know that I had lived in a different house, but it burned down to the ground in the beginning of 2020, which was my start to 2020. So, yeah, it's having another fire I feel pretty numb to it all when it comes to that. So, just having another fire was it was insane. And being with my family, we had a lot of inside intel to begin with because of where they worked and everything. So I knew what was going on. I knew how far the fires were going each day. We were keeping a very vigilant eye on all the updates, live and not live updates that they were posting on Facebook, and They were very, very diligent. These fire crews, absolutely amazing. I think the fire commander came from Oregon or something. Like, they came from a pretty far distance, and they did a wonderful job of keeping back the fire. And they did a wonderful job of informing the public of how everything was being handled and everything. So it was nice to know that with everything going on, we were pretty protected from the fire, even though the fire was still advancing, because fire is it's very unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. The fires can do one thing or another depending on wind, humidity, and everything else. So it was, for my family, it was very stressful. And for poor Jessie, I was giving her updates and she was just like, you need to leave now. And that was, it was so crazy. But I tried to reassure her and her mother, my aunt, that everything was fine and that we were keeping a diligent eye on everything, as well as my mother, who more or less was the same way, but trying not to freak me out by freaking herself out. And I'm sure she lost some nights of rest. She would text me every day. I would be at work. I would have no idea what was going on at my house or in the mountains when it came to the fire, because I worked in the valley. And she would just text me like, how's the fire? And I'm like, I don't know, mother, I'm at work. So it was, it's definitely one of those in a lifetime things that happen. And when we got the evacuation, where the sheriffs actually came up and they were talking to us about it, and they were just saying, if we come up again, it's gonna be, you gotta go now kind of moment. And so Ken and I made some decisions. We packed up the entire place, and I had all my Melzoc stuff in one place so that I could find it if something were to happen and we had to get out in less than the 2 hours that we are usually given for an evacuation order. So it was pretty insane. And yeah, I just couldn't tell you guys right in the heat of the moment, because there were a lot of things going on, and I didn't want to say, hey, I'm going to be evacuated, when there wasn't right now a possibility of that. So that's why that's why I didn't say anything. That's why there weren't any posts on social media about it or about just Melzoc in general. So I do apologize, everybody, but I really, really appreciate all you guys for the support you've given me and for staying loyal through all of this crazy nonsense with the fires and everything. And I'm just glad that it's coming to a close. The fires are pretty well contained because we got rain, and well, in the upper elevations they got snow. And so I am now back to my normal routine. I'm also off my job for the season, so I can do full-time Melzoc. There might be weekly. I haven't decided just because I kind of need a week or two of just trying to get my energy back from all the craziness that's happened, and with it being the end of this season. So there might be later weekly episodes of the Hazardous Artist, so I really hope you stay tuned to that. I'm hoping to have more products in my stores too, so there's a lot of things that I'm hoping to start again now that I don't have to worry about the fires and just go back to a normal, like, daily Melzoc stuff. I don't know where I was going with that, guys, but yeah, so yeah, that was the more detailed version of what the heck happened to you, Mel, over these last couple weeks. That's what happened to me. Wildfires, yeah. Only in the mountains of California can you experience this. Well, I guess not really, because sometimes the valley gets fires too. And those are just as crazy. So I'm going to stop the video there, because that's all I really wanted to talk about in this video. All these topics are starting to become a little bit more and more difficult to come up with, but I'll find a new topic. I'm sure I can find a new topic. So for right now, this is a goodbye. There will be a new Hazardous Artist, not next week, but the week after. And So look forward to that. I'm really excited to be back. I'm very excited to be back, actually. And I can't wait to finish this background piece with you. I got this kind of like foresty vibe going on with this. I had the thought when I was driving up from my errands this morning. So I was like, this is going to happen. And yeah, it's happening. So I'll see you guys not next week, but the week after. And we shall have more to talk about. Woo! All right. But until then, dare to create.